Hello everyone, my name is Laura and I'm coming back at you with some manga recommendations. I hope you're ready. These are mostly newer releases. I think the oldest one is from November 2021 and everything else has come out either in December or January. So let's get started with Lovesick Ellie. I was looking forward to this for so long. As soon as it got announced that it was getting in physical English, print, like I went and pre-ordered it. So yes, this is a shoujo manga about a girl who just lives in her fantasy world. She has a Twitter account where she documents all her fantasies that are inspired by this boy, the popular boy in school. And her fantasies are quite vivid. Like she just concocts all these scenarios in her head that later she publishes on her Twitter to, her Twitter followers that just enjoy the crap out of like her making up these stories. So then one day she drops her phone and he happens to, see everything that is written about him. And he just finds it funny, a little weird as well, but funny. And so yeah, then you have the story about how they meet, how, the popular boy in school who has this very he has to put like a fake persona to please other people, how he meets the pervy girl. That's her thing. She's the pervy girl who fantasizes about him. And it's so sweet. It's so funny as well. The artwork's also really nice. But yeah, just, the way they interact was very similar to, I would say, like Namaiki Sakari or Cheeky Brat. So you have that like bickering going for them, and you also, the boy is more of a tsundere character. That means they start very like cold and kind of rude, but as they grow more comfortable with the other person and kind of open up a little bit more, they become a little bit softer, a little bit more romantic. And if you don't know this about me, I adore tsundere characters, especially tsundere characters in shoujo mangas. Like they just, they give me all the butterflies. Like I adore them to pieces. And yes, that's how I feel about him. He's just so cute. And they're super cute together, but Eriko, Ellie, she's adorable. I mean, as a girl who did not have was not very experienced with romance in high school, relatable, just making up all these things in your head. So yeah, like this is another moment that she's just making stuff up. So she's, recalling the scenario, but she just like over exaggerates, like this never happened. And you and you see like in the little notes, like he's like, naked for some reason. So like, yeah, she'll make up things to kind of make the stories more vivid. And yeah, it was really cute read. I was just like squealing and just going like the whole time. Like, yeah, so you can see a little spoiler, but our boy does eventually grow to have feelings for the pervy girl. So yes, I loved it. And you know what, like this was a pretty thick volume, which made it really nice to read. Like I got a lot of the story with just a single volume. Volume 2 comes out very soon. That's if it doesn't get pushed back. Like when I say soon, I mean February soon. So I'm very much looking forward to that. But yeah, Lovesick Ellie, it's shoujo, high school shoujo for the modern ages. They have smartphones, they have Twitters. You also do get to meet Ellie's first friend, because she never had a friend she could go to and accept her for who she is. So yeah, you get a little of that as well, and their friendship is adorable. Like they go out shopping and the friend takes her to a lingerie shop, and she's just like, what? Like, what am I doing here? So their friendship is adorable. The friendship between Ellie and Omi-kun, the boy, also adorable. So yes, I really did enjoy Lovesick Ellie Volume 1. I will definitely keep on collecting the series and reading it. So yeah, Lovesick Ellie. That was my first read. I read it last night and just loved it. Then we have Daily Report About My Witch Senpai. This is so cute again. So cute. So this is a shoujo about two adults in the office place. You have, you know, you have the younger male and his senpai, who happens to be a witch. So yes, this plays very much, it's very episodic. So you have all these encounters that are recapped in the story. It very much feels like this needs to be animated. Like it has the potential to be a good anime, just the way it's set up in the book. Super cute. The artwork's also really adorable. I don't know if you can see that. So it just recaps different interactions between our witch and our younger co-worker. Our male lead does have a crush on his senpai, which he's very bashful about, but with each encounter they get to meet each other a little bit more. He acknowledges that he does have feelings for his senpai, and yeah, you just get really cute interactions, like this moment when she takes him out flying on her broom after he gets a little bit like stressed out at work. And look at this panel, it's just adorable. He meets her pet, he meets, you know, her brother as well. He helps her out with her self-confidence. She's a very relatable character. I can relate to how she is a pushover. She just likes to please other people, and she often puts other people before she, you know, puts an importance on herself and her mental health. So I do really enjoy the way he encourages her to kind of speak up and not let people take advantage of her. You do happen to meet her ex-boyfriend in this first volume and see how that relationship affected her, you know, self-esteem. So that was a very interesting read. That's where you get some of the sad moments that I posted, because the way she was belittled and her acknowledging the fact that she can recognize that her relationship was toxic. Like, yes, relatable content, but their friendship, I love. The way this wrapped up was also super nicely. You have her speaking up and taking a stand for herself, doing things that she wants to do. So I'm very much looking forward to volume 2. Yeah, really love this guy. It gave me all the warm fuzzy feelings that I wanted, some relatable adult stuff, but the artwork was super cute, the pacing was really nice, and yeah, it was a really great read and very similar to this guy. So this is the Savior's Book Café story in another world. This is a shoujo isekai story about a 30-year-old woman that comes in contact with God, and she gets assigned a task to go into another world to protect it from impending doom. So she gets told that she has one wish. She asks God, hey, has anybody tried to ask for more than one wish? And apparently nobody had. So her main wish is to open a book cafe in this other world, but in order to open up that book cafe, she wants to go into this other world prepared. She wants to know some magic. Obviously she's going to learn more about magic once she's in the other world, but she wanted to be prepared with some magic knowledge. Wanted to have the, you know, the book cafe, and you know, as a 30-plus-year-old woman, she knew what needed to be done, so she asked for everything that she could ask for. That way she would enter this other world as prepared as possible. But she is absolutely adorable. Your shy, introverted, nerdy girl. Relatable content once again. Like, I could really relate to her, and the fact that, you know, she in her 30s working a, you know, boring office job. Like, you just feel lost and you don't know what to do, and you just get comfortable and just think like, hey, this is how life is supposed to be, until she, you know, got magic and got transported into another world. She opens up her book cafe, which is absolutely adorable. Once she opens up her book cafe, she befriends this guy who's the captain of the royal force, and he happens to be a book nerd, and then from there they form a friendship. And yeah, their interactions are so wholesome, so cute. They share a lot of the same interests and authors and stories that they like. He becomes very infatuated with her as well. The artwork in the story is beautiful, but the progression, the pacing, the storytelling, everything's really nice. The fact that our protagonists are 30 plus, I mean, we don't get told how old he is, but he does look a little bit older than her, at least in this world. But yeah, it's just super sweet. I mean, look at them. He gives her this gift and he gets all bashful about it. So yeah, they have a really cute friendship. This story, after I was done reading it, it just left me in such a great mood. Like, it was such a lighthearted, fun read. Very slice of life, but you have those magical, whimsical elements as well. And there is kind of a romance that will probably get explored in the next few volumes, but yeah, super cute, highly recommend. Last but not least, we have a GL and a BL. So the GL is A White Rose in Bloom, and if the artwork looks familiar, this is by the same mangaka who did Classmates. I have not read Classmates, that is a BL. At the moment, a lot of the volumes are sold out except for volume 4 that recently came out, but this is the GL for the same mangaka. So this takes place in a boarding school. They're not in Japan. They kind of seem to be like either in England or somewhere in Europe. And yeah, it's an all-girl boarding school. You have a younger freshman and an older upperclassman. She's a very, you know, very bubbly, outgoing girl who's facing a lot of family issues at home. And then you have your cold-hearted, much more stern upperclassman who later you find out that she doesn't have a family. She comes from Hungary, so that's part of the reason why she's so closed off. She just doesn't want to let people in on her past, and you know, she doesn't want anyone to pry into her privacy. So yes, you have her. The way they meet is her parents want to kind of reconnect and rekindle their romance, or figure out whether they want to continue their marriage or split off and get divorced. So instead of going to her home in the holidays, she has to stay at her boarding school. And since she doesn't have family, she also stays in boarding school during the holidays. So from little by little, they start to kind of befriend one another. Not so much, like it's more her trying to befriend the upperclassmen, but there are some cute interactions between them. Once she does kind of break that first barrier, then you have her is trying her best to become friends and become closer to her, learn more about the girl that she, you know, has a crush on. And the interactions are very cute. She does later confess to her as well, but it doesn't really lead to much. This first volume, not a lot happens. It's a lot of like short interactions between them. And then you do get the confession scene that I talked about. And there was a little bit of tension too, a little bit of a love triangle at the end. But that being said, although not too much happened within the first volume, I'm still very intrigued to see where this is going. And the artwork is just very different from your typical, you know, manga series. I find the artwork to be quite beautiful. I know some people might not like it, but I really loved it. So yeah, I'm curious to see where the story goes, to see if the upperclassman steals stuff, gets her wall, you know, taken down a bit. So yeah, I really liked it. I'm definitely going to keep reading this series, and I would recommend it. And then last but not least, we have Restart After Coming Back Home. So this guy came out in November of 2021, and oh, it was so good. It was so good. I literally finished this guy earlier this morning. It was just a really good read. So you have two men in their mid-20s. You have one that grew up in the countryside that later moved on to Tokyo. After getting fired from his job, he goes back home because he has nothing else to do. He hasn't been able to find another job. And then once he's back home, he finds himself, there's this new guy that he'd never met before, and everyone's like in love with him, including his parents. And this guy is just a friendly, bubbly guy, super charismatic, super helpful to everyone that, you know, lives in that town. And slowly but surely they start building this friendship. I would say if you liked Our Dining Table, you're going to love this as well. It has that same emphasis on adult male friendship, same emphasis on discovering yourself even as an adult, figuring out what you want out of life and out of love as well. Super wholesome, such a great read. They both discover a lot about themselves and also about, you know, them as a couple later on in the storyline. Super well written. Artwork was beautiful. Let me share with you some panels that I liked. So yeah, they're just super sweet. They're very much like a case of opposites attract. You have your much more you know, colder character, and then like I said, this guy who's just, you know, a ball of sunshine. Like, he is just super bubbly, super smiley, but he does have a very a tragic past. Later in the story you find out that he was adopted and how he never knew his original birth parents. Like, he was literally abandoned on a park bench, and kind of closed off that part of his past to everyone around him. So yes, as they form a friendship, they start learning more. He starts learning more about his past once he's able to like open up a little bit more. But yeah, super sweet. There's absolutely zero spice, so much like Our Dining Table, this is just a very wholesome BL featuring two adult characters. I really loved it. I would highly recommend this story. If I would have read this when it came out, I probably would have put this in my favorite BL manga that I read last year, but I read it today, so thanks to my friend Dylan. Dylan has recommended this guy quite a bit over on his TikTok, so I'm just very glad that I finally took the time to read it, and now I get to share it with you guys. So I mean, just look at them. Just look at them. They're so sweet. I absolutely adore them to pieces. There is a live action film based on this story that I'm very curious to check out, but yeah, restart after coming back home. Highly recommend. Such a cute, wholesome BL. So that's it for this video. I would recommend all of these titles. Obviously, you don't need to run off to buy every single title, but if you see them at your bookstore, you were curious about them, just know that I really enjoyed them all. So let me know if you were curious about any of these titles, if you recommend anything else that I didn't mention in this video. Let me know in the comments below. If you're brand new, make sure to subscribe and make sure to follow me on TikTok and Twitter and my other social media handles. Everything's listed in the information bar below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys very soon in my next video. Bye!